Kol ha-neshama tehallel Hallelujah. Kol ha-neshama tehallel Hallelujah. Kol ha-neshama tehallel Hallelujah. Yaira, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Thank you all for joining me for another meditation Shabbat with Yoga Lelu. We are here tonight, our first Friday night of the Gregorian month and our last Friday night of the lunar month. So Monday night will be a new moon, a new month, and Rosh Hashanah. So I'm wearing my Who by Fire shirt to get us into that Teshuvah mode a little bit. And we're going to get started now with our candle lighting first and foremost. So, can the YouTube people see my candles? There we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher keishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Candles. As these candles give light and warmth to our bodies, the outsides of our bodies, and they are stretching tonight and are chanting and everything else give light and warmth from the inside out. And may we be lights and sources of warmth for those around us. So now we're going to get started with our moon salutation flow with a standing mountain pose. So your feet are about hips width distance apart and your toes are pointed forward, your palms are facing outward, and we're just still but alert. So nothing is being stretched just yet, but nothing is relaxed either. You're feeling everything. Feel the floor under your feet. This is one of the reasons it's great to do yoga barefoot. You can really stretch your toes out and grip the floor with your toes. Wiggle your fingers. Feel the air on your open, your outward facing palms. Your back nice and straight. Your shoulders down and back. Your head up high. Kol ha-neshama tehallel Hallelujah. Kol ha-neshama tehallel Hallelujah. Kol ha-neshama tehallel Hallelujah. Kol ha-neshama tehalleluya. Hallelujah. 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 And now we continue with the moon salutation. From mountain pose, we come into a salute, which means facing downward, a forward fold. You can do a sort of half first with a flat back and then fold all the way down into your feet. It feels very good on my back. And while we are doing that, and a little bit salutes, half salutes to the side as well. So as we cycle through those salutes, we are also welcoming in the Sabbath bride. Boikala, 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 boikala. Boikala, 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 boikala. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat, nekabela. Boikala, 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 boikala. Boikala, 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 boikala. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat, nekabela. Boikala, 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 boikala. Boikala, 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 boikala. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat, nekabela. Boikala, 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 boikala. Boikala, 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 boikala. Boikala, boikala. The Sabbath bride has entered. The Shekhinah is in this space with us now. So we honor the divine spark in each of us, the Shekhinah, the divine femininity, with our chanting Baruch Hu and a goddess squat. So feet are about as far as the mat, if you have one. So a little bit more than your hips apart. Toes are pointed out and come down, if you can, to where your thighs are parallel to the ground. Baruch Hu, dear one, Shekhinah, holy name. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Baruch Hu, dear one, Shekhinah, holy name. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Baruch Hu, dear one, Shekhinah, holy name. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home. Baruch Hu, dear one, Shekhinah, holy name. When I call on the light of my soul, I come home. With your feet still out in that position, raise your hands up, reach in every direction, for that is where the Shekhinah lives, everywhere, all around us. Grab that air. Feel it in the ground. Here in star pose, we center our breath with the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto Leolam Va'ed. Oops, I keep trying to bring my feet in too soon. That's the trouble sometimes with this time of year. It feels like it comes too soon, too late, but it's always here really on time when we need it. And so maybe I think I want to bring my feet in too soon because maybe my legs were out just a little too far for what my body's feeling tonight. But you're going to keep your legs a little bit wider than hips distance and turn one of them fully, one of them fully 90 degrees that way, and one of them can stay here, maybe like a little bit 45 tilted in for triangle pose. There's a lot of threes in Judaism. The triangles of Torah, Avodah, B'Gemilut Chasadim, the three things that the world stands on: Torah, worship, and acts of loving kindness. There's the three peaks, the three, crowns of the high holy days: kingship, shofar, and teshuvah. We tend to not talk about the kingship one so much anymore in Reform Judaism, but it's there. So what are the three things in your life that you feel like really hold you up? Go ahead and switch legs. Do your triangle pose on the other leg. So now one comes a little bit tilted in and the other one 90 degrees out. When you're tilted to the side like this also, even if you're a little, whatever, wonky, it still feels good on your outer hip, but to get the real good stretch on your inner hip, you want to try to keep your body flat. Imagine that you're like stuck between two panes of glass. So I guess that's another metaphor for support, right? Like, what are the three legs of the stool that hold you up? And what are the boundaries? What's the back and the front of the stool that help keep you feeling centered, so you're not going to fall off, tip forward, slide away. Now your feet can come in more centered, and one is going to come sort of directly in front of the other. They need to be a little apart or you'll get all wiggly like I'm doing right now, but pretty close into your body, about a foot, one in front of the other. This is pyramid pose, so as we come down here, continuing our moon salutation, stretching out all the parts of our body that get real tight during a work day. We can sing some Micha Mocha. Our people were once enslaved in Egypt, building these pyramids. Now we are free to pray, to gather to some degree, and even to appropriate Eastern worship practices through our yoga. Micha Mocha, Elohim Adonai. Micha Mocha, Nedar Bakodesh. Nora Tehilot Oseh Eleh. Switch sides. What makes you feel free? Maybe not this pose if you have tight hamstrings, but in your life, what gives you the joy and freedom that we can imagine our ancestors felt when they crossed the Sea of Reeds singing the Micha Mocha? We're almost through with our moon salutations. So from our, we finished on with our left leg forward. So now let's pull our right leg all the way forward for a low crescent lunge. Again, honoring the moon, the Sabbath bride, saying goodbye to this moon and hello to the new moon that will bring us into 5782. May it be a year of health, happiness, safety, and freedom, equality and peace, love, all of the things. And the other side, whoop, wobbly. Do a little back bend there too, while try to keep your hips sitting right in the center and just bend your upper body back. Feels very good and a little unstable, but Very good. All right. All right. Getting the insides now. So we worked these muscles pretty well with our goddess pose. And now we're just kind of going to squat into that and rock from side to side. You can do a little side lunge the other way. I tend to fall forward when I do this, but you want to try to keep your back up straight, stay centered. And that's a sun salutation. Now, as always, for our meditation, our long hold pose, I always recommend, if you have a job that you are on your feet a lot for, don't worry, we're going to do cat poses before we finish, but it's not time yet, so just ignore her. If you have a job that you're on your feet a lot for, you're going to do legs on wall. If you have actually a wall to prop your legs up against, that's great. Otherwise, you can just hold them up here, do little dead bugs with your hands and legs. Maybe a little happy baby, rock around. Just get all that blood that flows into your feet all day while you're on your feet, standing at a cash register, walking around helping patients, I don't know, whatever it is you're doing that might make your feet swell up a little bit, as some people's feet do during the day. This is going to help that all flow back to where it needs to go. And if you have a more sedentary job, my Keepa did not like that little twirl there. If you have a more sedentary job and you're at a desk all day, we're going to come into child's pose. So your toes are touching behind you under your bum, but your knees are a little wider. And then just come on down and rest your torso right in between your thighs. And as I've said before, I like the reaching forward child's pose because it also feels good on my shoulders, which get really tight. But you can also do a little bit more of a hold yourself pose. Bring your arms back and hold your heels and rest that way. But I can't talk audibly with my face in the mat, so I'm going to sit while I walk you through this meditation. But I hope you stay in one of those two poses, legs on wall or child's pose, with any of those variations. And really sink into yourself and let your body sink into the floor. So often for our meditations, we start with who is someone that gives you strength? Imagining an ancestor, either a grandparent or a spiritual ancestor from the Bible. Today I want you to hold on to an image of someone that you feel reasonably certain that you give strength to. Maybe a child, a student, otherwise a dependent, a younger sibling, someone that you feel you've been a role model for. So picture that person in your mind. And imagine them reaching their full potential. So whether that's they're getting their dream job, graduating high school or college, playing first chair in the orchestra, getting that dance solo, making an extreme breakthrough in their scientific research. I don't know. Whatever the things are that people aspire for. Imagine that person that you have cared for reaching that place. What are the ripple effects for that? What is the impact of each small act of sharing our gifts, of teaching others? What are the ways in which those dependents can still support and teach you in return? This week's Torah portion is about this great equalizing moment when Moses gathers all of the people, and it makes such a specific point to name the spectrum of society that the Torah clearly thinks is from low to high. And Moses says to them, this Torah is for all of you equally, and you don't need anyone to bring it to you. Now, of course, we do know that they needed Moses, and our children, our students need us to teach them. But once they have grasped it and they have been able to reach their potential, then who do they pass that on to? How do you accept them then as your equal, your colleague, your protege, your successor? How do you nurture that equality and that continuance? Continuation. Just take one more moment to really envision the future. Your ideal, perhaps, for a young person in your life, or a younger person, doesn't have to actually be a child, but again, someone you mentor. By the time you retire, or that person moves out of your house, or whatever the thing is that you have sort of abdicated your role over them in a explicit sort of way, what is the future that you imagine then for yourself, for that person, and for all of the ripple effects around you? I know it's hard to think in such like concrete visions, because how could you possibly know? But sometimes envisioning can really help actualize the thing. So let the whole scene play out for you. I hope it's a good scene. We're not trying any like all about Eve business here. Nobody's being replaced. Some more deep breaths. May it be so. Oh, say shalom bimrama. Oh, ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom. Ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom. Ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. As we move toward our final poses, we chant these words from the Aleinu, that it will rest on our hearts that God, that Adonai is our God. And a day will come when all the people of the world will understand the divine spark in every other person in the world, and we will live in a messianic age of peace. But in order for that day to come, we all have to do some very hard work to bring about that day. So first, we need to make sure our backs are nice and nimble with cow poses. Badger has gone to have dinner now, so she's not going to join us, even though theoretically she'd be very good at cat poses. So your knees are directly under your hips. Your hands are directly under your shoulders. You breathe in and drop your belly down like I guess like a cow. I've never seen a cow quite do that. But anyway, drop your belly down so your back is kind of concave. Here, should I do it this way? Stick your booty out. And then when you inhale, you arch your back like a Harleen cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And a few rounds of that, just match your own breath. And when your spine feels nice and nimble, we're going to come into our bridge pose, because that's what we need. More bridges and less walls. I think I had another metaphor there, but I lost it. Anyway, we're going to build bridges. So, on your back, try to bring your heels in as close as you can. That kind of depends on how flexible your quads are. If you can touch your fingertips, just raise your heels. That is ideal. Your feet aren't quite touching, but they are close. And then raise up your back. You can kind of fold your shoulders, your arms underneath yourself. Maybe grasp your hands underneath you and get a shoulder stretch in there too. V'hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim. V'hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim. V'hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim. V'nemar v'ha'Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Now we take a moment to pray for healing for all those in need of healing of mind, body, or spirit. Feel free to add any names in the chat for those you'd like to say a healing prayer for. Mary Kennedy, Rosalind Cantu, Mike Haug, Lori Perry, Nick Joliot, Ariel Batsluva, Rhoda Wessler, Skip, Kathy, and Jeffrey Brace, Rhonda Butler, Ricky Grant, Shoshana Bat Abraham, Minna Dornfeld, Julia Arrighi, Leslie White, Ann Cohen, Charlotte Birch, Anita Ash, Joseph Matter, Daryl Swan, Doris Hudson Trujillo, Susan Smith, Mary Lou Manzelli, Kevin Kossoff, Devin Kennedy, Herb Leventhal, and Kylie Bean. El Narifanala, El Narifanalo, El Narifanalanu, El Narifanala, El Narifanalo, El Narifanalanu. 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 El Narifanala, El Narifanala, El Narifanalanu. And lastly, we say a prayer for those who are no longer with us in body, but remain with us in spirit. This week marks the yahrzeit for Colin Joseph Wolfe, Cesar Lenegra, Robert Sherman, Harold Topolsky, Tilly Zutz, and Harvey Labenow. And we are still within the year of mourning for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Patricia Michaels, Joe Davis, Kathleen Schindler, Jamie Bellitz, Neil Savage, Ann O'Neill, Bruce Schechter, Bernard Strassner, Ruth Sherman, Aaron Honig, Jean Sullivan, Carol Rubel-Magrum, David Nemero, Tom Lombard, Marion Finkel, Steve McGrew, Herbert Levy, Lynn Steffen, Debbie Taylor Wright, Mark Anderson, and Gary Sullivan. For those who wish, you may come now into final resting pose. For those for whom that's too macabre, you may rise for the mourner's Kaddish. For my final resting pose, I'm going to do a supported, it's actually called a supported fish pose, but it's a really good one to end on when my back hurts, as it does currently. I gotta get the spots right. Wait, it's up too high. That's what the problem is. Okay. Yidkadal, Yidkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma, Dibra, Chirute, Yamlich Machlute, B'chai Echon, Uviom Echon, B'chai Dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala, Uvizman, Karib, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alamu Amei Amayah. Yitbarach, V'ishtabach, Yitba'ar, V'romam, V'naseh, V'thadar, V'aleh, V'talal, Shemei Dekudusha B'richu, Ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, Daliran Be'alma V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba min Shemaya, T'chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'imromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, V'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'imromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru, Imru, Amen. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael. V'imru, Amen. I'm gonna remove my blocks and lie all the way down for one more deep breath. Stretch out in every direction and come into the fetal position on your side. And slowly bring yourself up. Tap your third eye or smooth out the spot that gets lightheaded when you come up too quickly. A few announcements. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. there is regular Shabbat service, Shabbat morning service at the temple. If the weather is as beautiful as it was today, we will definitely be outside. Monday night is Erev Rosh Hashanah. Festivities begin at 5:30 with the Tat Shana, so that's a program geared toward our youngest members, 5 and under, though of course their older siblings and grown-ups are definitely invited. And then regular Erev Rosh Hashanah services start at 7:30. Tuesday morning is our morning Rosh Hashanah service at 10 a.m. If you have not already registered, it is too late now to attend in-person services for Rosh Hashanah, for the adult services, Erev Rosh Hashanah and Rosh Hashanah morning in the sanctuary, but we are still going to stream everything to YouTube as well. And then Tuesday afternoon, we will head over to Bull Run Marina at 2 p.m. for Tashlich. Because it is outside and we don't ever have more than like 25 people there anyway, on a non-COVID year, we're not requiring registration the same way, so feel free to come if you haven't already registered as well for that on Tuesday. Next Friday is Patriot Shabbat. Again, we are in the sanctuary. Please do register, just like for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, because we are all in the sanctuary together. We do want to have an idea of head count and keep our numbers COVID safer and more distanced. But that service does start at 7:30, and of course, as always, all of you are welcome, and any first responders are encouraged to come in uniform and have a special thank you from us. And then the following week is Yom Kippur. I feel like there was something else before. Oh, of course, the first day of Sunday school. It's not this Sunday, not Labor Day weekend, but next Sunday, between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, that first Sunday, the 12th, is our first day of Sunday school, and it's our reverse Tashlich day. So again, at 2 p.m. on Sunday, September 12th, we will head back toward the Bull Run Marina area. We're going to kind of scope out on Tuesday what area looks like it needs cleanup the most, and then give you instructions about which side of that Clifton Road, whatever that road can be, not terribly busy, but the cars go pretty fast. So we want to make sure that we park on the side of the road that we will be cleaning up. So stay tuned for more details on that. But in any case, 2 p.m. Sunday the 12th in that area. Okay, I think that's enough announcements for now. Obviously, Yom Kippur is around the corner. There's more happening, but I'll ramble forever. So let's do Motzi. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Okay, Avon. I did this in the wrong order. I've stretched my brain out too much. But oh well, let's still do our prayer over wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. L'chaim. And one more round. I'm going to do some sitting cat-cows too because my back is still a little funky. But you can sit however's most comfortable. We'll do one more round Kol HaNeshama Shema to close us out tonight. Kol HaNeshama Tehallel Hallelujah. Kol HaNeshama Tehallel Hallelujah. Kol HaNeshama Tehallel Hallelujah. 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 Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I hope you have a very restful weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Sunday. Probably see you a lot.